So today, we're going to take a journey, a really, really long one, all the way to the year 82,701. We're going to explore a future that was born from humanity's biggest wins and its absolute darkest impulses. We're following H.G. Wells's time traveler on his very first pretty harrowing voyage. It's a trip that starts with his head just full of these grand ideas and hopeful visions for what our species could become. But the truth he finds at the end of time, it's somehow more elegant and way, way more savage than he ever could have dreamed.
This right here, this is the question that's just buzzing in his head, fueling this entire crazy adventure as he shoves that lever forward, watching the days and nights literally blur into streaks of light. He's dreaming of a human race that's beaten disease, poverty, war, a civilization of just profound intellect and grace. He's picturing this amazing posterity that has built on the foundations of his own time to create something truly magnificent. He is, a total optimist of his era, a believer in the steady upward march of progress. But what he's about to find is going to challenge every single thing he believes about that march.
His journey doesn't exactly end with a gentle stop. Nope, it ends with a violent crash. The machine just shudders and literally flings him through the air, and he lands with a thud on some soft grass. The air is just thick with the sound of a furious hailstorm, the little ice pellets stinging his skin. But then, as his senses come back and the storm starts to fade, he sees it. It's not some futuristic city of chrome and steel. It's a lush, sprawling garden, dotted with these colossal, beautiful buildings under a warm, inviting sky. It looks, for all the world, like a perfect paradise. He kind of stumbles back to his machine and glances at the dials, and that's the date they show. Now, just to put that into perspective for a second, he has leaped across more than 40,000 generations of human beings. He's standing in an age so remote that all of our recorded history, every empire, every war, every single discovery he knows, it's all just a fleeting, forgotten moment in the deep, deep past. And then, the first people of this new world emerge. They're small, slight creatures, barely 4 feet high, wearing these simple tunics and sandals. And they are, he notes, just indescribably beautiful, with this delicate, almost fragile grace. They seem to live a life of perfect ease, just eating fruit from the trees, bathing in the rivers, playing simple games under the sun. They come up to him not with fear, but with this gentle, almost childlike curiosity, touching his clothes and laughing at how strange he looks. And this is where the profound disappointment starts to sink in, first slowly, then all at once. He tries to communicate with them, gesturing to the sky where the thunderstorm came from. And one of these exquisite little creatures just laughs and perfectly imitates the sound of thunder. The time traveler is absolutely staggered. These heirs to all the ages, the final result of human evolution, they have the intellect and the attention span of a small child. They have zero curiosity. No drive, no interest in anything beyond their immediate comfort. So he's trying to make sense of all this, right? He develops his first theory, and it's a pretty chilling thought about the hidden danger of utopia. Humanity, he figures, finally won its long war against nature. It got rid of hardship, disease, all the struggle. But in this perfect comfort and total security, the very tools that forged humanity, intelligence, strength, resilience, they just didn't have a purpose anymore. Necessity wasn't the mother of invention. With no problems to solve and no dangers to face, humanity just atrophied. It settled into this long, peaceful, and strangely beautiful sunset.
But as he's thinking about this too-perfect triumph of man, this deep chill runs through him that has nothing to do with the cool evening air. The sun goes down, the moon comes up, and he looks back towards the lawn where he landed. This beautiful sunset, well, it's about to be plunged into a terrifying darkness, as this idyllic paradise reveals its first, deeply unnerving secret.
Sheer animal panic just grips him. The one thing, the only thing, connecting him to his own time, to his entire existence, has vanished. He runs blindly down the hill towards where he left it, shouting, his mind just reeling. The thought of being stranded here, a helpless ghost in this soft, decadent future, it's a terror that's beyond words. He is utterly, completely alone, 800,000 years from anyone who would even understand his language. He finds this groove ripped in the grass, the unmistakable tracks of his machine being dragged away, and they lead directly to the base of a colossal white sphinx, carved out of a single piece of stone. He notes its leprous texture in the moonlight, and its face seems to be smiling, almost mocking his despair. He hammers his fists against its heavy bronze pedestal and hears this hollow echo from inside. And with a dreadful certainty, he just knows his machine is in there. But the gentle, frail alloy could never have moved it. Some other, totally unsuspected power is at work in this world. The next clue to this world's big mystery comes from the Eloi themselves. As night falls, he notices this one powerful emotion in them that just doesn't fit with the whole Paradise story, a passionate, overwhelming dread of darkness. They huddle together in the great halls, sleeping in these vast piles for comfort and protection. For them, being caught outside after sunset is a source of just unimaginable terror. And this fear, he starts to realize, it's not just a quirk, it's the key to understanding everything. And another piece of the puzzle is all around him, built right into the landscape. He finds these strange, deep wells rimmed with bronze, like chimneys leading straight down into the earth. And when he peers into the blackness, he hears something that shouldn't be possible, the constant, rhythmic beating of a great engine from way, way down below. He lights a match, and the flame is pulled steadily downwards by a current of air. It's some kind of vast underground ventilation system, and it serves a purpose he can't even begin to guess, but he knows. He knows it's connected to the Eloi's fear. He feels like he's on the edge of a discovery, but he's missing that final critical clue. So looking for some shelter from the midday heat, he wanders into a dark, crumbling ruin. And it's there, in that oppressive blackness, that the truth is revealed in the most terrifying way you can imagine. He's about to meet the second inheritor of the earth. In the pitch black of the ruin, something is watching him back, a pair of large, glowing eyes. A primal dread just washes over him, that ancient fear of a predator in the dark. He freezes, his heart pounding in his chest. Then, the eyes dart sideways, and something white and stooped, a strange little ape-like figure, scuttles past him, blinking painfully in the tiny sliver of sunlight before just vanishing into another shadow. His confusion instantly turns to horror. He is not alone with the Eloi. And then the truth just hits him like a ton of bricks. Humanity didn't stay one species. It diverged. This isn't just evolution. It's the physical result of a social divide. The graceful children of the upper world, they aren't the only descendants of our generation. This bleached, nocturnal creature that scuttles away from the light, this Morlock, is also an heir to all the ages. He knows he has no choice. The secret of his time machine, the reason for the Eloi's fear, the very truth of this entire world, it all lies down there, in that suffocating blackness. Steeling himself against whatever is down there, he begins the terrifying, claustrophobic climb down one of the shafts. And the rhythmic thud, thud, thud of the machinery just gets louder and louder with every foot he descends, pulling him deeper into the heart of the Morlocks' underworld. What he finds at the bottom is like a vision from hell. He comes out into this vast, dark cavern where the air is thick with the throb of machinery and a faint, sweetish smell, a smell he recognizes as blood. In the brief, flickering flare of his matches, he sees them, the Morlocks. Pale, chinless creatures with huge, grayish-red, lidless eyes that just reflect the light. And then he sees something that freezes his blood in his veins. On a small table, a joint of red meat, freshly cut. He flees back to the blessed sunlight, his mind in a total revolution. He has all the pieces now, the frail, useless Eloi, the underground industrial Morlocks, that all-consuming fear of the dark, and that joint of meat in the underworld. The most horrifying discovery is still yet to come as he finally puts them all together and uncovers the final, ghastly secret of humanity's future. He traces the origins of this horrifying future all the way back to his own time, to 1895. He realizes this split began with the widening gap between the wealthy capitalist and the poor laborer. Over countless generations, the haves claimed the sunny surface of the earth for themselves, pursuing only pleasure and beauty, while the have-nots, the workers, were pushed deeper and deeper underground with their machines. Eventually, that separation became permanent. It became biological. They stopped being one people. But that old relationship of master and servant, it hasn't just ended. It has been nightmarishly inverted. The Eloi, who are the descendants of that idle aristocracy, they've decayed into a state of what he calls beautiful futility. The Morlocks, adapted to darkness and labor, are now the masters of this world. And their former masters? Well, the Eloi are no longer a ruling class. They're livestock. They are beautiful, fattened cattle,
tended to by the Morlocks, for one single, terrible purpose. As he sits there in the starlight, watching the gentle Eloy sleep, the memory of that joint of meat he saw in the underworld comes back to him. And with a sickening, soul-crushing certainty, he understands. He finally understands that all-consuming terror the Eloy have of the dark nights, especially when the moon is new and the Morlocks can come up from their wells unseen.
The ultimate social justice, the ultimate revenge has come to pass. Ages and ages ago, one part of humanity shoved the other into the darkness to work for them. Now, that brutalized half has returned, but they've changed. The Morlocks, their old food sources long gone, have turned to a new one. They tend to the Eloi, their former masters, only to harvest them in the blackness of the moonless nights. And this is the final, grim balance of humanity. Not a single united species that has conquered the stars, but two creatures locked in this ghastly symbiosis of predator and prey. The time traveler feels this profound sense of despair and even responsibility. The great social triumph of his own age has curdled over millennia into this unspeakable horror.
The time traveler journeyed to a future where he believed humanity's struggles would finally be over, and in a strange way, he was right. The great economic and social battles had all been fought, and a victor had been declared. But H.G. Wells leaves us with this terrifying question. After the final victory is won, after a perfect, peaceful world is achieved, is it possible that the only thing left for humanity to prey upon is ourselves?